Thank you very much, Charles, from Enugu Center, and welcome to Abuja. My name is Nwabos Njoku. Remember that from Monday, we began this conversation, or Tuesday indeed, the conversation on the huge amount of money that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has allocated to the agriculture sector. And it's not just budgetary allocation. This is a special intervention fund to give the agriculture sector a shot in the arm. Over 3 trillion naira. 1 trillion to the Agriculture Bank, 500 billion to the Bank of Industries, special purpose amount, as you call it, to the banks to enable them take more risks in the agriculture sector, and then allocation of 360 something billion in the current 2025 budget. That is a huge sum of money being allocated to the agriculture sector. Remember that member of House of Representatives, Honorable Dennis Agbo, said on this program, on this issue, that this is the first time in the history of this country that such an amount has been allocated to agriculture. And he said the president has got it right. Now, this Friday, we were supposed to have 3 sets of guests. The Commissioner for Agriculture and Permanent Secretary in Niger State, the National Secretary of All Nigeria Farmers Association, and the President or Chairperson of All Nigeria Women Farmers Association. Because these are people who are going to be directly involved in the management and application of these funds. Right now in the studio this morning, I have Yunusa Halidu, Sarakin Noman Mambila, and I've already told him I'm going to follow him from here to Mambila because I want to go and enjoy that near temperate environment when he lives here. Now, Yunusa Halidu is the National Secretary of the All Nigeria Farmers Association. Halidu, you're welcome to the program.
Thank you very much. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Nigeria.
Now, let me start from the monies made available to 2 banks. One is 1 trillion naira to the Agriculture Bank. The second is 500 billion to the Bank of Industries. These monies are supposed to be given for direct production. That is the one for the Agriculture Bank, and the second one is for processing given to the Bank of Industry. Now, you and your members are the people directly involved. This morning, you and I will converse on the priorities, the challenges, and what needs to be done. What should be the most important thing that government should be looking at in giving your members from this money?
Okay. Thank you very much. Good morning, Nigerian, and I thank you for bringing me in this studio today. And there's nothing I will say rather than appreciating Mr. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and his team. This is the first time ever a sitting president focus on agriculture and earmark this huge amount of money. I don't think it has ever happened in the history of Nigeria. And I think his declaration of state of emergency in agriculture has proven that he has interest in Nigerian agriculture sector. For him to earmark this huge amount of money, he has seen what we are facing in Nigeria. Today, every price of every commodity has skyrocketed. A common man in Nigeria cannot feed himself. Even the middleman cannot feed him, talk less of the local pet people. You can't farm and feed yourself, talk less of to feed other people. We have been saying it several times that a sovereign nation is a nation that can feed itself and feed another countries. An independent country is a country that can feed itself and equally feed another nation. I keep saying it several times. It's not an abuse, it's not an insult. In as much as we can import foods, agricultural equipment, machineries. There are other machines that is mandatory for us to import, but foods, common food, processed food, if we can import it from other nations, we are not an independent nation. Either you like it or you don't like it. I'm saying it, and I appreciate Mr. President, and I wish to see Mr. President one-on-one. Our organization we were planning how we can meet with him and give him an award of excellence, the farmer's father in the country. And this is the right time for us to do that. We are definitely going to look for how to see him and give him this award, with him and the National Security Advisor for playing a very vital role for people who have advised him on this. But the truth remains here, utilization of this fund, that is where the fire is. Which amount of money like this, if care is not taken, all this money will go on programs, organizing seminars, planning, having meetings here and there, traveling for excursion, doing this and that, while the real farmers are suffering at the grassroots. Agriculture is not politics. It's not where you can play politics with its food. It's a constituency where every living thing visit. So we don't have to play politics with agriculture. We don't have to play religion with agriculture. We don't have to play tribal with agriculture. Because if you go to the market, there is no Muslim, there is no Christian, there is no APC, there is no PDP. So everybody goes to the same market. So it's something that all of us will have to come together and look at who are these people producing this food. How do we make their life better so that they can produce more food? All Nigerians cannot be farmers.
No.
But by the time money is given out, everybody become a farmer. That is where the problem is. But we will advise the president and the national security advisor of the country, Mr. Nuhu Ribadu. He has also tried his own possible best for securing our farmers, for advising the president on this. All of them, we need to appreciate them. We need to sit down with them and tell them how we can spend this money. What do we need in this country? Major problem, we need mechanization. We need tractors, we need heavy duty equipment. If you go to the east, if you go to the west, there are thick forests. They can't farm because they don't have machine that will service their land. The land need to be prepared. Even in the north, there are thousands of hectares that are not prepared. That's why our tractors doesn't last. We need heavy equipment, heavy machines that we can purchase for this, and we can monitor. We are farmers organization. Our organization, in my own data bank in my office, I have over 17 million farmers, and it's a real-time data. It's a real-time data that, as I'm talking to you like this, my data is ongoing. We have a platform where we have an application where farmers are registering on daily basis. So we need to come together and sit down with them, assist them. Don't put me in the planning committee. Don't give me the money. I will tell you how we spend the money. I will tell you how we monitor and how this money will be used judiciously, so that there will be easy food at the table of every common Nigerian. We cannot be buying food so expensive in this country. We cannot eat. We cannot buy. We cannot drink good food. We cannot drink good water. We cannot wear good clothes because we cannot feed ourselves. And it's high time the president have shown us a way that he has interest in this sector. So we Nigerians, we should not disappoint him using politics, using religion, using tribal and other things to waste this money.
Okay, let me come in a little bit. On Tuesday or so, when the member of House of Reps was here, I asked him a question. The federal government has no land and therefore cannot farm. The state governments that own land cannot farm, and therefore they use the farmers to farm. What would be the method of getting this money to the farmers? Let me just explain something. Many of we're in the studio, we say we are enlightened.
Yeah.
Many of our farmers are not that enlightened, but they know the farm, they know the technique.
Yeah.
They don't have registered companies, but they need this money. What will you recommend? How will you recommend that this money gets to them? Now, when the money gets to them, don't forget it's a loan, very low interest loan, maybe 9%, maybe 8%. I experience in this country that people get loans and they don't pay. So there's need for your association to tell us this morning, look, this is how to give these loans to my people, and this is how to make sure that they pay. Can you tell me?
Thank you very much. Let me come back. Let me come back to the issue of land. The federal government doesn't own land. Actually, the states, I don't know the constitution, even the states, they don't own land. The local government own the land. The farmers are in the rural areas. Some of them own the land, some of them lease the land, some of them rent the land, some of them inherited the land. So there are many titles of land used by our farmers in every community. That's why if we are doing a program, we must make sure that you give us the title of your land, because if the program is a sustainable program, then we will know, we can review it next year. If you are renting the land, if you are leasing it, what is the duration of the contract for you to use this land? So we should know that. But farmer is a farmer. We know where they are. There is no commodity that produced in this country that I cannot tell you where they can be produced in large quantity in every local government of this country, because I have no business apart from agriculture. That is my business. I'm not a politician, I'm not a civil servant, I'm not a security man. I am an ordinary farmer. And that is why, and I'm a strong member of the Farmers Union. So with this, we must collaborate with the government. We will identify who will pay and who will not pay. We know them. Why farmers don't pay? Because I told you, when money comes, everybody becomes farmer. So in that scenario, some of them will collect this money, they'll go out to Abuja and build estates. Some of them will travel abroad, go to Dubai and build hotels. So that is how this money is being lavished, and at the end of the day, it's called farmer. But the real-time farmers, last time when the past president, General Muhammad Buhari, retired, when they raised the issue of anchor borrowers, we told them, arrest anybody who collect this money and he didn't pay. Identify them. If you go to Lagos, there are many houses in Kano, most of these cities, there are many houses that were seized by EFCC because they collected money from federal government, anchor borrowers.
And these are not farmers.
They are not farmers. They went and built big houses. Some of them were even forced to collect this money by this conniving with the government agency, because they will give you 100 million, they will take back maybe 50 or 20 million naira back. So we must sit down with the government and tell them how to use this money, who to give and who not to give. We are doing programs with other organizations. We know how to do recovery. We know how to do all these things. So we have to look at it in the whole scenario. That's why I'm telling you that I must appreciate Mr. President, and at the same time the National Security Advisor, because I have seen his platform. I've seen how he operates, how he's relating, how he's helping our farmers in the rural area in terms of security. Where we are having difficulties now in the north is some places like Katsina and Sokoto. Sokoto is even becoming, our farmers are going to farm, but Katsina and Zamfara. But upon all that, our farmers are still going to farm. We have introduced this urban farming system that everybody can farm within your backyard. And all these people, they need input, they need training. So we must collaborate with the government. The land are in the rural areas. The land is not in Abuja. The land is not in the city of Lagos. The land is not in the urban city of Kano. The lands are in the local government. So if you have the land in the rural area, we go to your land, we geomap your land, you give us the title of your land, then we give you inputs. There's a program I'm doing. I don't want to tell you who I'm dealing with. What do I do? We put the money into a cooperative. A huge amount of money is in a cooperative account. That money is secured, and the only signatory is the cooperative chairman. So every farmer, they put the money into farmer's wallet, but you don't have access to the fund. What do you need? You need fertilizer. We just pay the supplier of the fertilizer half amount. Then once you bring the money, once you supply the fertilizer, a farmer sign that he has supplied, then we pay him the remaining money. What do you need? Seed. Who is supplying seed? Mr. Njoku, you are supplying seed. We need 1,000 metric ton of seed supply to 1,000 farmers across Nigeria. Every farmer will testify that Mr. Njoku has supplied his seed. Then we will now pay Njoku his money. That is how all these things are done. That's how loan is given. You don't give cash. If you give cash, Nigerian man will end up buying house, buying cars, buying wives.
Like me at this age, I want my last wife.
You can imagine. So you can. That's how it happens. You're at this age. There are young ones who, once you give them money today, they'll start changing wardrobe. They'll start buying, marrying more wives. But if this money is used the way I am telling you, we will give them the blueprint. We will give them the blueprint how it will work, and it will work, no matter how huge the amount is. We have farmers in our data bank. Like just of recent, I heard that there's a collaboration between Ministry of Agriculture and the National Identity Management NIMS.
Yes, using NIM.
Of course, it was a good idea, but that is where everybody will use that platform and register. Some of them may definitely not have farmers.
Many of them are not farmers.
Many of them are not farmers, but they will be the one to benefit from the input distribution. At the end of the day, the real farmer will still go and buy from them at the exorbitant market price. So it's just like my people say, you dance, you didn't turn. you understand? So we have to look at it in those government, Mr. President. I am pleading with him, National Security Advisor, Mr. Nuhu Ribadu, you have done your own best. Let all of us come together and see how we can help this country. You have done your own best. It's left for us. Let us sit down with these people who this money is under their custody, then we tell them how to use this money. But somebody will not start telling you, no, you are not this, you are not that, you are not that. I said it from the beginning. I said we must keep politics aside.
Out of it.
I love President Bola Ahmed Tinubu for one thing. The first time he was inaugurated into office, he said, either you were articulated or you were obedient or you were concosia or you voted for the benefit of your political party. Now that your political party did not win, come, let's build a formidable Nigeria. That is the word that makes me to respect him from day one. And he has been a man of respect till death. So I think with this program that he brought to us in our own constituency, we must kneel down. We have to tell our farmers to kneel down and appreciate him anytime and pray for him, pray for good health for him.
Now let us start looking at which areas of the farming process, because he provided money for actual food production,
yes,
and then provided money for processing.
For processing, yes.
Because year after year, even on this program, we have programs, editions on post-harvest
losses. Yeah, sure.
Where do you think the emphasis should be? Is it in actual production or process and preservation?
We need process and preservation quite all right, but the major bottleneck of this country, the problem that is facing Nigerian farmer is productivity. There is low productivity. And why am I saying low productivity? Because there is no application of technology. There's no application of modern technology, no modern mechanization like other countries in the world. If you travel to other countries, you see 50,000 hectares of land. If you count the staffs that are working there, they are just few. Like in Nigeria, if you have 1,000 hectares, you will have almost 1,000 people working in the same farm. Manpower, ordinary manpower. Today we need technology. If you go to other countries, you see tractors driving in the farm by itself. No operator. So these are simple machines that we also need. There are simple hand tools that we also need that can ease our farmers, that can ease the production. Because the primary problem is the production. We have low production. What do we need? We need technology. We need machines. We need mechanization. We need good seed varieties of seeds and seedlings. These are all challenges that it's not everything that you see. There's what we call seeds in this country. There's what we call plantable materials. Because even if the grain, if you put it on the ground, it will germinate. But can it give you a good yield? How do we identify good seed? We have to collaborate with the Nigerian Agricultural Seed Council. They know who are the real companies that produce real seeds that we can give to our farmers. We don't do fire brigade on all these things. There are processes. After that, we will now come to processing.
Okay. Now let me just interject a little bit, because you mentioned production, and you gave an example that if you go like US, for example, you can see 500 hectares and all that with tractors going forth and back. That acreage of land, somebody has got to have access to it.
Exactly.
You know why I'm raising this matter? For instance, secretary, you want you get this loan now. You want 500 hectares, for instance. I'm not giving an instance.
Yes.
To make your production go up maybe 50, 100%. It requires the state governments, local governments, to sign off that land to you. What role should the states be playing now to make your farmers have access to such large acreage? Because yes, we have smallholder farmers all over the place.
Yeah, sure.
But for the impact and this quantum of money, we need large acreages for people to farm on. What will you be telling the state governments now?
We are telling the state government to make sure that they mark all this land. There are virgin land in many states, and that is where all these kidnappers, banditries are living. If we are able to cultivate this land, most of this thing will die a natural death. I've said it several times. Zamfara have a very, very vast land. We have technology, we have drones that they can go and map out this land. We have machines that can push this land, push all these trees down, all these hideouts. They'll run away. And it's because this land are not utilized. That is why they are having that avenue for them to hide.
Very true.
And if you have, what is the total hectares of Zamfara state? It's a total hectare of one farm in the US. If you travel to California, it's a total hectare of one person land. The whole of Zamfara state. So is that what we cannot cultivate? We have the money. So it's not about giving loan to a farmer for just 1 year. Give a long-term loan. Give a long-term, 5 years, 10 years loan to a farmer. The first 2 years for him to plant, to prepare the land. Then once he started, that is the residual investment. By the time he starts the full investment, that's why the government will start monitoring. I have given you this, you have spent this on this, then you start paying on this. So it's a collective responsibility for everybody. You don't just give somebody loan, then you go and sleep. You give somebody loan, you help that person to monitor. You monitor, you see how he's working. If he's failing, but in Nigerian scenario, some people, they will give you loan, they will go and hide at the back, they will plan with other people to make sure you fail, so that they will seize your collateral. So these are all things. So you understand? No, it's happening. We are in the system, we know. But in government case, government will make sure that if you give somebody loan, please and please monitor this.
Monitor him, assist him,
advise him, train him. Can you handle this amount? If you cannot handle, where is your land? We have to go to. You don't give loan in the office. You don't approve loan because it has a very big. If you go to bank today, I'm saying it, commercial bank today, you apply for loan, they'll tell you, where's your business plan? You bring it, they'll say, no, this is not professional. Give us half of this money, we'll do a business plan for you. And every business plan that is designed by somebody is a failed business plan. I'm an entrepreneur. You cannot plan business plan for somebody and you succeed. Because I have my idea, even if it is local, give me what I want, help me monitor, it's simple. But they will go to bank, they will tell you, no, give me your business plan is unprofessional, give me 500,000 naira. If after they approve, then I will give you a professional business plan. And they don't even have the idea, it's just copy and paste on the system. They'll print it out for you and say,
and they will approve it themselves.
They will approve it. The same people, and this thing will not work for you. If you give him, he will not read, he will not interpret it because he did not plant it. So these are all things that we have to look at it in the whole scenario. The Economic and Financial Crime Commission, the National Security Advisor, and other security agencies have monitored this bank. The Nigerian, what's the name of this organization?
The insurance.
Insurance. They have to monitor all these things. That is what is spoiling this country in most cases.
Now Halidu, let me sit back here and play the role of a Fulani. From a Fulani man watching two of us at home now on this program, I will say, look, this is your conversation, Mr. Secretary General. Yes. We are discussing the crop farmer all the time. Crop farmer, because all your examples, all the monies, all the acreage, all the tractors, they seem to be working for the crop farmer. What of the man involved in animal husbandry? Where is his own money in the all of this huge amount of money being provided by the state, by the federal government?
No, I'm not, anyway, because I didn't mention, I'm not talking on only crop alone, because I'm even from the livestock. You understand? I'm a fish farmer. I'm a livestock farmer. So I know when I say clear the land, bring me even livestock, they need technology. We have traveled to other countries that you see the livestock. You see a farm of 200 cows managed by maybe 1 or 2 people alone. Because for technology, all their feed.
2,000 cows,
yes,
not 200 cows.
I'm just giving you in a short minute.
Yes.
So you see that the feed are feed by machines. The milk are milked by machine. The dungs are cleared by machine. The injection
and they use again on the soil
and everything. And they have pure organic fertilizer and send it to the farm for the pastures to grow. All these are things that this money has to go. People have to bring this kind of expert, not an expert that will come and collaborate with you to make sure you fail. There are foreign experts that will come to this country. They will give you an advice. If you are not careful,
you just collapse.
They'll just collapse you because they don't want you to grow. There are many international organizations that are in this country. They are not ready for this country to grow. Because by the time we grow, they will not grow.
They lose their jobs.
So we have to be very careful with this kind of intervention from other foreigners. We have every capacity to help this country. I am telling you, I keep saying it, we don't need much from foreigners. We don't need much. We only need little. So by the time we are depending fully from them, then we are still going back to square one. We have to stand up and say, look, if we cannot produce this thing, we don't need it. We have every capacity to produce everything in this country. It's just a matter of time. It's just a matter of time. We have to look at it in all that dimension. I'm talking in the whole general scenario, not only agriculture alone, health, education, infrastructure, and other things. So there are lots of things that we don't need. We don't need from other countries.
Okay, now let us still go back to the application of this fund, because that is the bottom line of this conversation.
Yes.
So much money given, how do we apply it? You have raised quite a number of issues, that the money consumed by bureaucracy should be minimized, so that the money is put into actual production. Now let us look at the comparative advantages of states, locations in this, because you said to me in this conversation that you can tell me where each crop can do very well on large scale in this country. Exactly. Now, I'm sure the quantum of money a yam farmer requires is not the same quantum of money a tomato farmer requires.
Exactly.
It's not the same quantum of money that a rice farmer needs. Melon, you may think is small, it's not the same amount of money. If I asked you now to prioritize allocation, check these crops, where should the government be putting greatest attention?
Okay, thank you very much.
Yes.
We have to look at the consumable food, because all what we're looking at now is food that Nigerian eats on daily basis. You see rice, you see maize, you see beans, you see wheat. These are the, you see sorghum. These are the crops that Nigerian consume on daily basis. You see palm oil. These are other things that you see livestock, fish, because somebody of your age now, if you go to hospital, they'll tell you stop eating red meat, eat fish. And the production of fish today is very expensive in this country because of high cost of what? Inputs. So these are all sectors that we have to look at it in the general sector, but we have to look at, prioritize what do we eat first before we start talking about export. What do we need? We need rice, enough rice. You see, let me tell you something. Nigeria is producing a lot of rice. A lot of rice.
Can you repeat that?
Nigeria is producing huge amount of rice.
So?
But you see, I have to tell Nigerians this, because we in Nigeria, we have one phobia. If this thing is not made in Nigeria, it's made in Nigeria, Nigerian man will say, no, it's not original. And the same local person will deceive you. They will go to all this printing press, brand a bag made in China, made in Japan, and the rice that they find in Niger State, they will brand it and package it and bring it to you. You buy. At the price
twice if it was simply Nigerian rice. Because
you are stupid. Sorry to say that. Because you are stupid. You say you like the foreign
imported rice.
And you are seeing me as I am like this, in a personal ground. If I go to any business, any shopping mall, I want to buy something, you tell me this is foreign, I walk away.
I don't buy it.
I'll tell you I don't need it. I'm telling you, that is my lifestyle. Don't convince me that it's foreign. You think that what will make me to buy?
Convince
you are
me.
even discouraging me because I will not buy. When I have local people producing it, I am producing rice. You want me to go and buy local rice, foreign rice for what? And most of this foreign rice, we have foreign machines that are blending this side, polishing this side. If you look at in Nigeria, it's just about packaging. If you package it very well, you sell it the way it is, because it's not foreign that you want. They'll give you the foreign bag and you buy. And another problem is, I told you about seed.
Yes, seed.
Yes. If you go to most of this rice mill, 95%, all rice mill in Nigeria, not even one, they are packaging rubbish. Why do I say rubbish?
Tell me.
Why do I say rubbish? Because you are packaging materials that you don't need the source.
You do not know the source.
Do you see in one bag of rice, you see different varieties of rice in one bag. Because if you have a rice mill, you should have a rice farm. Yeah. You should have a company that is supplying you standard type.
So you can say this is Kano long grain. This Katsina
short grain. This is this Faro. This every rice have a brand, a name. So if you are producing this rice, it has to, but they are just branding it. They will tell you it's this. But if you go inside, you check scientifically, you see that there are
the one from Kano is there, the one from Abakaliki is there, the one from
Nasarawa is there.
All of them.
That is it, because they have their people, their vendors. They buy rice from Taraba, they buy from Nasarawa, they buy from here. They'll come and junk it in the same pot and mill it. Then they'll back it to you be eating junks. Yeah. But in a good day, if you travel to other nations, you see that people. If you have a rice mill that is giving you 1,000 ton, then you should have a farm that should be giving you 10,000 ton. That you give your own variety. Okay. So everybody should have that priority. But that's not happening because everybody wants to go and process. So
I can now have.
That is why a lot of.
I can have Mambila long grain.
Long grain, and that rice purely from Mambila. But you see, that is why you see most of the rice mill are grounded today, because there's no raw material. You see, somebody will go to Lagos, inside Lagos city, they'll go and build a very huge rice mill. They misplace their priority, because if you go 100 kilometers, you will not see one rice farm. How will you fit that industry, that kind of mill? You need to build your mill
close to your
source. But it's not happening in this country, because everybody is interested. Because the past president injected a lot of money in processing, that they collected a lot of money and built rice mill, and most of them are grounded today. If you travel to most of this state today, you see rice mill for sale, rice mill for sale, rice mill for sale. Why are you selling it? Why are you selling it? Because there's no raw material. Production is low. We keep telling them that let us invest in productivity. They are investing in processing.
In other words, now, with this money that the president has allocated, there should be a careful allocation of funds into actual production of the raw stock.
Exactly.
To then make the mills more functional.
Yes. If there is enough productivity that the processing is lacking, that is when we'll start thinking of processing. But for now, let us emphasize on production.
And then feed the processing plant that we already have.
Exactly. Until when it is no longer enough for them, then we'll start thinking of building another processing plant. But we have enough processing plant in this country. They only need manpower, they only need other little things. But for us to start building another new industry, I don't know to me, but I think we have to look it we have to take Nigeria in our hearts. We have to take Nigeria as our child, or as our father, or as our grandfather, whatsoever. You have to hold Nigeria with a very good handle Nigeria with care.
Okay, let me tell you what some of the state government, and that's why I wanted the Commissioner for Agriculture in Niger State, who promised to be here with his permanent secretary. I do not know whether they're not here. Maybe my producer will tell me. Some of the state governments are saying this huge amount of money, allocate some of it to us, because we know the farmers in our states and we can guarantee the loans and make sure the loans are paid back. You know why I raised this? You talked about bureaucracy at the federal level. and high bureaucracy, training, travels, and that can consume so much of the money. When the states begin to say, look, this money is too huge, give some of it to us and then we can lend to our farmers. Do you have any fears about that?
No. Some of them can do it. But you remember, these are the same people who advised the president to import food. And these are the same people who sometimes ago, they told the president that the country is not, there's a lot of production, that the naira is devalued, so Nigerians are taking their food outside, they cannot sell in the country because the naira has no value. And the same time, I was called by Radio France International that the Nigerian governors, they went to Lagos, they saw Mr. President, they told Mr. President that Nigerians are, there's no food in Nigeria. They want to import food. Mr. President granted opportunity for them to import food. I said, is it not the same people who told the president that there's no food in Nigeria, that they're exporting it? So there's a language in my presence. Say, if somebody who is talking is a fool, somebody who is listening is not a fool. You understand? But some of the governors, of course, they can handle the money. There are governors that are farmers friendly. Some of them are not farmers friendly. I cannot mention them. I know them. We know their capacity. We know that how they are relating with our farmers, with our association in the state. But some of them are not. Some of them may use this money and do their politics. At the end of the day, they know that they have allocation. How much do you need? Is it not just 9%? If you give me 100 billion, 200 billion, is it 9%? I'll use my allocation to pay you the 9 billion. That's how it is.
Well, I'm in the studio this morning conversing with the National Secretary of the All Nigeria Farmers Association, All Farmers Association of Nigeria, All Farmers Association of Nigeria. And the issue we are discussing is what we began with some members of House of Representatives. Honorable Dennis Agbo here, who said Tinubu was making history. Now, this conversation this morning has been, yes, thank you, Mr. President, for allocating this much. Thank you, Mr. President. We are going to honor you because you seem to be farmer friendly. Thank you, Mr. President, because you declared a state of emergency and you are redeeming your promise to tackle food production in Nigeria. But it's raising certain fears. One is that bureaucracy, just like some of the United Nations projects, consultants, travels, allowances, conferences and seminars, take all the money. For the actual implementation, some of the projects begin to run short of funds. He has raised that matter. He has also talked about prioritization. And more concentration should be on actual food production. And in that actual food production, he's mentioned seeds, inputs, not cash. Preparing the land, not cash. Bringing the machinery, not cash, to the farmers. On the other side, I've raised the question of some state governments that have shown interest in appropriating this fund and then disbursing to the farmers. Haledi says they have over 17 million members and they can identify them in real time. Do the state governments have this? He has also thanked the National Security Advisor, who is real time providing security for the farmers to go back to the farm. We are going to take a short break now. When we return, we'll interrogate the fallouts. What are the expected fallouts from this huge investment? The employment generation. Now, when the processing begins and packaging comes in, exportation comes in, what should we be looking at? That will be in the second part of this conversation. Please stay with us. Now you welcome back. My producer, while I was taking that break, said to me, just have only 7 minutes to round up. I thought I had up to 10-15 minutes. Now, Halidu.
Yes, sir.
After the production, after the processing, one of the challenges Nigeria has had over time is that there will be demand coming from outside, and now there's need for us to export. It is your members who will export when your items have been processed. Some of your members may not even go into actual production. Some of them may go into processing. Do you ever converse with Nigerian officials, government officials, on regulating quality, regulating packaging? Let me tell you something very quickly. Between Nigeria and Ghana, it was all over social media. Nigerian farmers who wanted to export yams to US and UK, their yams rotted at the airports. But Ghanaians got their own intact. Some of our own that got across to UK and US, their packaging were rejected. Do you host such conversations? What should you be looking at now? That's what I want to know at this, the closing part of this conversation.
Okay, thank you very much. I will say it like this. Most of this thing I told you, there is international politics on our food all over, because Nigeria is a very giant country. If Nigeria grew, a lot of nations in the world will collapse. So packaging food in Nigeria, no matter how quality you package it, the international
somebody somewhere will reject it.
I keep saying it that if you reject my food, I will also reject your own, because there is international trade balance. If you cannot take my own, I will not take your own too. We have to bring that kind of politics. That's what this president of America, Donald Trump, says. There must be trade balance. If I'm buying something for your country, $1 billion US dollars per annum, then you should also be buying something from me directly. You should be giving me that money. If I'm giving you cash, you should also be giving me cash, but not in Nigerian case. You ask how much have you? They will tell you they spend 10 billion naira on importation of fish. They spend 10 billion naira on importation of milk. But that country that is taking that you are taking milk from,
what is it taking from Nigeria?
Is it taking from you? Is it that if you don't take milk, you will die? So leave it. If they cannot buy from you, don't buy from them. That's the trade balance we are talking about. So what am I saying in a nutshell is, Ghana, you see, Ghana is a small nation. Ghana produces yam, but the major yam exported from Ghana are Nigerian yam. Yeah. If you go to Katsina, Ala, Benue axis, you see Kaduna axis, you see the yam they are purchasing from Taraba, all these places, they are taking them to Ghana to go and package and export them. But once it is Ghanaian, is exported from Ghana, they will buy. It's just what I was telling you, because they have this thinking that Nigerian yam is so good. They just have that. Nigerian beans is one of the best beans in the world. I can tell you that. But once they send it to Europe, they will say, these beans, they will reject it, they will throw it away. But if it is pushed out of this country to another neighboring country, it will fly. So these are all international politics that we have to look at it. That's what I'm advising the National Security Advisor. I wish to see him one-on-one. And the Mr. President, both of them, I'm telling you, I must not relent to thank them. And we are promising by the grace of God, if they are going to grant us audience, we are going to give them a very, very big award, because we have seen their impact. They have done wonderfully well. So we can still advise them to do more. Because processing, before we even start thinking of exportation, is there availability of food in our table that everybody can afford? Even in Nigeria today, you go to, there's what we call packaging. If you go to a bag of rice is how much? 70, 80, 60,000 naira in other places. But if you go to a hotel in Abuja here today, you buy a small plate of rice like this for 10,000 naira. A rice that is not up to one handful. What do they put inside? Is it gold? So they are even shortchanging the farmers. That's why if the farmers say, okay, if I can go to your hotel and buy a plate of rice, 10,000 naira. Okay, me, I will sell my rice 150,000 naira. But that time, it's not the elephant that will be suffering. It's the small rats that will be suffering.
To go and eat from Mama Put.
So that's why we say we have to balance everything. We have to look at all this, because you cannot be buying from me at a very low price and just small value addition. You will be selling at a very huge amount of money. Government have to look at it in that scenario. So because there's a lot of things that is unbalanced in this country, that I think this government, if they put heads together, they are going to balance it. It's just about, not about being a leader. What is your impact? How are you leading? What is the benefit? These are all things that you have to look at it in no dimension. So I am wishing that by the time we have a meeting with the President, the National Security Advisor, and other key stakeholders, the advisors of the President, the Chief of Staff, these are people that we need to see them at all time. We don't need to feel...
Yeah, but also, you also need to interact very closely with the Ministry of Agriculture.
Of course, yeah.
Because they are the ministry that really is in charge of all of this money.
Of course, yeah. Sorry, yeah. Meet all of them. Yeah, all the Ministry of Agriculture, Bank of Industry, Bank of Agriculture. We need to interact with them. We need to advise them. Even if they cannot take our advice, we need to tell them
what challenges are.
They have to listen to us too. Maybe there could be something reasonable on what we are saying, but they should not bullshit us. They should listen to us. We are the owners of the farmers, because they are in our data bank. We control them. We know where they are. We have a platform where we can communicate to them at a time. So this platform, and it's not a small platform, from the national, from the zonal, from the state.
One of the complaints the president and his team have now is high unemployment rate. How will this money and energizing your people help in absorbing some of us who want jobs?
Anyway, I don't know how people call job. I don't know what they mean by job. Is it when they are paying you, is that job? But if you are paying yourself, is it not a job? I don't know how they interpret job. If you can create a job, are you not in job? Are you not in business? There are a lot of business environment. 1,000,001 business. A Chinese man once told me that there are 1,000,001 business opportunities in Nigeria, but the Nigerians are blind. You understand? You see, Nigerian man, you see somebody with a telephone, 500,000 naira phone in his hand, and he will telling you that he don't have job. How do you acquire this phone? 500,000 naira is enough for somebody to start a business in this country. And you see somebody, he doesn't have 10,000 naira. He will tell you, how can I go to the street and start selling pure water? Pure water is beyond you. You cannot sell. You have to sell because you don't have. So you see, these are some of the pride that Nigerian has. We must begin to value labor.
That's very good. Very correct.
Nigerians are too proud on something that you don't even reach. Somebody will go and buy phone, 500,000, will go and buy a car, 10 million naira motor. Once he will have a small opportunity, he will be driving a big car. Even to fuel the car will become a problem. They want to see him, he has a car, he has to reach. And he will tell you that he has no job. Paid job is not a job to me. That's why you see, not that I don't want, but to me, for me to work and you pay me, I don't look at it as a job. Because if I produce from my farm, I sell. I do my little businesses, and I take care of my family. So I don't need a job. Even my children, if they graduate, nobody go to any office and look for job. You have to emulate what I'm doing, because that's what I built. I built you up. So you have to take it to that level too. It's not everybody that if you graduate from university, you need to get job. What kind of job?
Well,
there are universities of technologies in this country, universities of agriculture, graduate students that if you ask them, let me just give one. There was a student that graduated from university, extension from university. He doesn't even know the difference between melon and watermelon.
Oh, well, both of them are melons. Well, in the past 55 minutes or thereabout, I've been conversing with Yunusa Halidu, the Serkin Norman Mambila, National Secretary of All Farmers Association of Nigeria. He was just supposed to be here for about 30 minutes because the Commissioner for Agriculture in Niger State and his permanent secretary was supposed to take the second segment. But I think the past 55 minutes have been very, very engaging, because we are talking with those who wear the shoes, who know where it pinches, who know what they need, how they need it, and how to deploy the resources if given to them. We've been looking at the president's close to 3 trillion naira injection into the agriculture sector. the making of history, everybody says, what impact will it create? We hope that by this time next year, we'll be talking about bumper harvest. But please mind what Halidu had just said. This is March. Farming season begins shortly. Bureaucracy may not release these funds to the farmers until maybe November, by which time the season is over. Yet, the calculation for the loan begins when the documentation started. And he said that creates a problem for the farmer. We hope that bureaucrats in the ministries are watching and are listening and feeling with the farmers, and that by this time next year, all of us will be smiling and keep smiling subsequently. All I can do this morning is to thank Yunusa Halidu for coming to the program. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Njoku.
I'm telling you, I will soon join him and become a farmer. Maybe also I'll follow him to Mambila one of these days.
You are already a farmer. You are already a farmer with me here. I can see your environment is very green, so I believe that you love farming and you are already a farmer.
Thank you very much. And the conversation never stops. Monday next week will still be another edition. For this morning, thank you for joining us and have a great day ahead. Good morning.
Thank you. Thank you.